Hello friend, welcome back. In this video, I will start a new session. It's about database connectivity and the models. So how can create the database, how can create the database table, how can create the model in Laravel, and how can create the all the queries. So step by step, I will show you each and everything with live example in this session. So this session will be little bit basic. So first of all, here I just want to share all the basic fundamental, and then I will show you how can apply all the things in our project. And if you already know about it, then you can skip that session. So now let's start it with the creating the database. How can create the database in your local host? For finding out the database area, you have to write down as a local host, then it automatically redirected to the local host XAMPP. And then they have option for the PHP by admin. So now I click on here. So that is our PHP by admin. Now here I want to create one of the database. So right now if you want to create the database, you have to select as a database. And into the databases, here you can see I already have some of the database. Right now I want to create new database. For doing this here, I just for education purpose using one of the database name as a sample. Okay, I just defined that as a sample, and here there is a create button. So now I create this database. So now here our database is created. Now I want to create one of the table for this database. For education purpose here, I just create one of the table as an employee. Okay, so here I just define that table name as employee, and there is a number of columns. So right now education purpose I am using as a 9 number of the columns, and now click on the go. Then it should be redirected to that page, and here you have to write down all that your field name. Okay, that is all the type. So first of all, here I just added the field as a one of the ID, and then I just want to add another field like as a name. For education purpose, I'm actually sharing that things with you. Laterally, when I actually work with our project, then we create another table for this one. But right now there is a name, and here I just defining as a phone. Okay, I just defining as a phone, then I just defining as email, and then here I just defining as a city. Okay, like here I just defining as a city, and here I just defining as a age, and then I just defining as a salary. Then here I want to add another field like as a join date, join underscore date. So this type of one of the table I just added on here, that is table field, and also I just added another field as the status. And now this ID, so this ID will be auto incremented. Okay, that means it automatically generated 1 2 3 this type of things. For the reasons I just select as a auto incremented, and I just make the things as a primary. Now I click on the go, and now here for the name, here I just defining as a worker, and that is a phone. I also defining as a worker. Email, I just defining worker. City, I also defining as a type as a worker type. Age, you can make the things as an integer rather than I just put better as a worker. There is a salary, and for the salary I just define also as a worker. Okay, there is a join date. So join date I just make the things as a that will be showing the date. So here I just defining as a timestamp, and also there is status. And for the status I just put as a integer, and here better I just define as a defined as a 0 value. Okay, so by default this status will be the 0. For the reasons I just put that things as a 0. And now also we have to add some of the length. That means how many character you want to set for this namespace. Okay, so here I just defining as a like 50. Okay, there is a phone, I just defining as a 50, and for the email I also defining as a 50. There is city, so I just added the 50 character. There is also 50 character. There is worker, so here I also defined the 50 character. And into this position we don't need to do anything. I hope you can well understand about it. So that's how you can actually create the database table and all the table field. So now I just click on the save, and now in our structure here you can see there is a ID is primary and it's auto incremented, and then name, there is a phone, email, city, age, salary, and the join date and the status. Okay, so for now I want to actually insert some of the demo data first. So manually I just want to insert it. So go to the insert, and here first of all I just added some of the name. For right now I just added the name as a Kazi. Okay, that I just added some of the demo phone number. There is an email, so I just defined the kazi@gmail.com, and then city I just defining as a Dhaka, and the age, for the age I just defining as a 30, and salary I just defining as a 10,000. Okay, so 10,000, and status is by default the 0, so right now I just put that things as a 1. And also there is another one, so I just also want to add another field. So for now I just defining as the Ariyan. Okay, and I just put some of the demo phone number. There is the email, I just defining as the ariyan@gmail.com, and there is a city. So for the city I just I just defining as a Dhaka, and there is a age. For the age I just defining as a 32, and salary range I just defining as a 20,000, and I just put that thing by default as a 0. And better I want to insert another one. So here I just want to increase another one, so I just define the another 3. Okay, that means here you can see there is a 2 and the 3. So for now here I just defining as a jack, and then I just defining phone number, some of the demo phone number, and then I just put the email address as a jack@gmail.com, and then I just defining city as a New York. Okay, I just defining as a New York, and here there is the age. So for the age I just defining as a 33, and salary I just defining as a 30. Okay, that is 30,000, and I just put that value as a 1. That means that is actually the status. Okay, so for now here I just added some of the demo data, the 3 demo data on particular disposition, and now click on the go. So now here our data is inserted, and if you go to the browse, now here you can see there is a ID is automatically incremented, there is a name, there is a phone, there is email, all that city is now visible on here, there is a age, and also I just defined some of the salary, joining date by default, he get that time, and here for the status I just defining as a 1 and also the 0. So laterly I will show you how can read all the data, how can add the query, and how can access that table, all that field. So step by step I will show you. So right now here I created our database, I created the database table, and here I inserted some of the demo text. So now I want to configure this database with our project. So that is actually our project. So for create a connection, it's pretty much simple way. Like here there is our project, and here you find out that is a .evn. So for now I just open that file, and into this position here you can see that is actually all the database details. Like here there is a database name, there is the database username, and the password. So you have to define it. So for right now our database name is the sample. Okay, so that is actually our database name. So if you go to the database, so that is our database name. For now I just copy it, so I just copy that name, and here I just paste as a database name. So I just added the database name, and also there is a username and the password. So right now I'm using actually localhost, and if you want to show that details, like here there is a user account. So here if you click on user account, and into these positions, like here you can see there is a username by default as a root, and there is a password. So right now they have no password. Okay, so that is actually our localhost. So right now I just added that username as a root on here, and also our password. So right now I don't have any password, for the reasons I just put the things as a blank. Okay, so here I just put the things as a blank, and now if you click on the save all, and if you now refresh it, like here I just refresh that page. So now here you can see they have no error. That means our connection is perfectly connected. Okay, so now our project is connected. So now that is actually connected with our database. So that is the database I created. So in our next video I will discuss about that things with you, how can create the all that query. Okay, so how can create the select query, how can read all your data from the database table, and how can visible it. So in our next video I will discuss about how can work with the query. Okay, so how can create the select query, how can read all the data from the database table, and how can visible it. So step by step I will show you all the basic that you really should know. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.